Okay, so I've got into another game against Orange Jay. He's also a fairly good player, so I do have to keep my concentration up against him. I could play another Queen's Gambit. I do want to mix it up, but, you know, stick to what you know. I suppose, kind of know. Play the first 4 moves that you know, and then make it up as you go along. Okay. So, we could try and force his hand here. Try and get him to push some more pawns, or at least bring the knight out. Expect knight out, that's what I would do. This, I think, it just gives me a tempo, because now I attack the bishop and I take back my pawn. So I'm going to take that. Nice little tempo for the centre. I've got a good centre now, and took the pawn back. Okay. I'm wondering how I can exploit this pawn push. Knight here is just a nice developing move. Means bishop here. Yeah, if knight develops, then I have bishop here, and he has to play something like this. Because otherwise this pawn wins the knight because of the pin. So, probably will see this anyway. Like, playing this isn't too bad to stop the bishop. Like, my bishop just drops back, and then you've got to maybe play bishop here to stop this being a major threat. That's nice because it stops this move, because if I play bishop here, bishop takes, and if I recapture, then I lose my bishop. So it's a nice little threat. It's also good because it threatens capture, and I'd have to take with the pawn, because if I take with the queen, his queen takes my pawn here. So it's a nice little move actually. So I suppose the best way to defend would just be dropping my bishop back. Just drop the bishop back. Keeps everything in check. Still have a good centre. Fairly equal position. Maybe 0.4, something like that. Okay, now we play this move. And I fully expect this. I'll try and weaken his king side. If he castles queen side, we can start pushing these pawns up the board. Okay, that's also a move. He isn't threatening to take here, because once knight captures, there's no recapture here, because of both my knights defend. Although, actually, thinking about it, knight takes, bishop takes. I'd have to take with this knight, sorry. And if bishop takes, there's another strange one where knight takes, bishop takes, doesn't happen. Instead, bishop takes, then I would have to do bishop takes, threatening his queen with queen takes, bishop takes. So I'm going to castle here. And then I'll get the rook on the open file, well, the semi-open file. I was just looking at ideas of playing my knight here, but I'm not really sure what comes of it. Like, we trade off the bishops. And I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Maybe queen here, maybe. But I don't know. If takes, then just takes, and I win a piece. Now his kingside extremely weak, and this move looks very nice because of if takes, then my queen has future ideas of it coming into the attack. I'm thinking about playing straight away. Knight here. Knight here. Bishop takes. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is a big exchange route. Knight here. Bishop takes. Could play knight here. Because the queen takes. Then. Or bishop takes. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Knight takes. We're threatening a pawn. He's not really threatening anything. So he captures and we gain the centre. I actually like that position because if he has this loose pawn here, and we don't have any loose pawns really, because as soon as the knight comes in here, I can capture this, so he has to recapture, and then this is a loose pawn. No in between check, so we'll take. And the key thing is, he can't take here because the knight takes. And he can't move the queen out of the way because of I take here with check. Meaning when he recaptures I can take this bishop. So, okay, he's going for the trading route. He's currently losing this pawn, so he has to recapture. Otherwise he drops a pawn. Now I'm thinking, if he recaptures with the bishop, then I just take. Okay, yeah. I just take here. Keep this defended. Just shuffle him about a bit. Get some room for my rooks to lift up and move over. If he moves here, then we just kick him away. Obviously he doesn't have to move it, but if he doesn't move it, that's fine, because we've got the space and we're defending this pawn twice now. Our knight is currently having to defend this, so if we ever get threatened, we do have the opportunity to take. If he moves bishop here, then we'll just grab it. Now we have opportunities to play this. If pawn pushed, then we move here. And his position starts opening. And with these two pieces on the back row, it's massive loss of coordination between the rooks, because it takes 2 moves to gain coordination. Obviously my rooks aren't fully coordinated yet, but they can coordinate within 1 move rather than 2. If I was him, I'd maybe play, well, bishops don't move like that, play bishop here to trade off the bishops. I suppose that's also a move, but I'm currently defending it. Knight here looks good for me, because I attack and I wouldn't mind doubling his pawns in this position. I also have the opportunity to then get my knight here, which is a very good square. So I think I'll play that. Okay, now knight here attacks this pawn and threatens here. Now what am I doing threatening there? Absolutely nothing. Knight here, pawn push, knight here, rook here, lose knight. So obviously, well, maybe not actually, because knight here, threatening this pawn. Yeah, it does open up the position. I'm also threatening this pawn actually as well. So I think this is a crushing move. Unless I completely blundered and didn't see something. So I imagine we'll be winning the edge pawn here rather than the centre pawn. Although actually, well, yeah, the only way to defend it would be to move the king here. Okay, so now actually, are we winning material here? Takes. Takes. Yeah, we're winning material here. So he might play on. There's still reason to play on. Like, it's not all over, it's just the exchange. So take here. King captures, I just capture here. We'll be taking this way because we want to... Okay, so he does that. Yeah, I suppose that's a move, isn't it? Okay, so playing still equal. We'll start pushing the pawns though here. So let's see how coordinated he is. The rook and two minor pieces against the two rooks. As long as I keep coordination between my rooks and them supporting each other, then I should be alright. I don't want to create an isolated pawn because with the 3 versus 2, the isolated pawn would be extremely weak. So we're going to take with the pawn, with the rook, sorry. Got a nice little hidey hole here, so we're not getting back ranked, especially because the bishop's on the dark square, so you want to lift up the one on the light squares to ensure that you're not getting checkmated. You always have that square to jump out on. Now, we could trade off a pair of rooks. But I don't feel like I should. So, we'll keep this pawn. Now I'm wondering if this is a good move for me to play this, well, not 3 squares, but 2 squares. Because if takes, takes, bishop takes, then I take this outside pawn. Oh, and there's a, well, not exactly ways of winning this pawn. I could try with pawn push, I suppose. So takes, 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 and then here he always has this check, unfortunately, as well. So we'll take the outside pawn, and then what? Not really much going on there, is there? Let's play it. There's some activity from it. So takes, takes, bishop takes. Now I have 2 options here. I play this, and then he checks me, and I don't win this outside pawn, so we'll take this outside pawn first. I have ideas of playing this, and then threatening mate. So I'm attacking this pawn, threatening checkmate. So I think we are winning material here. If just push the pawn to defend this square, then I have check winning the bishop. So we'll take this pawn. Now, the risky part is my rooks are very uncoordinated. I have gained a pawn, but at the risk of losing due to tactics. Now, an idea of a rook here to win this pawn. I'm thinking of playing, obviously he wants me to grab here, so he plays this check and wins my rook and it's over, but I'm not going to fall for that. So to move maybe rook here, threatening rook here, king here, rook here. Doesn't really do anything, I suppose. Try and bring some coordination back to the pieces. I don't know about that though, because of I'm losing this one, so let's do this to ensure that we keep our pawns with both of these protected. I'd like to get off this dark square. Do I have tactics here? I don't believe so. So we will pull back. And we need to start marching the king forward. Obviously we can't go here yet, but here's hoping in the future. Once we start pushing, this bishop's going to have to defend here. Very annoying where his bishop is. It's a very good piece. I might have to sacrifice this pawn. Or is it really a sacrifice? Because if he takes here, then I win this pawn. Very tricky, very tricky. Yep. Okay, so if rook here, pinning this. Okay, let's think. Okay, rook here pins this. He has check, I move here. He has no other checks except that which just loses. So he has to play something like that to defend this. I play rook here. Threatening to take, and then take. Okay. It was a little bit tricky towards the end, but found the right moves. Probably going to give me like 40% accuracy or something like that. 82.6, not too bad. Yeah, I felt a lot better in the opening here. Queen here was better. Yeah, I suppose you have attacks on this rook, which he has to deal with. Yeah, it's just that move. Okay, let's see if we get another game straight away. Not doing too bad. 6 out of 7 with the only loss coming to Tati. So, that's okay. I'd like to have a game against Eccles. He's played some good games against me recently. Usually it's some lack of concentration from me and I blunder some position. But I'd like to see how well I'm concentrating today. Although I don't think I'll play too many more. There's only an hour left in the tournament. 15 minutes with increment. Probably get 2 more games in max. So I reckon if I start one more, there'll probably only be about 20-ish minutes left. Unless it finishes really quickly. So maybe only one more game. But on leaderboards, nobody else is on a streak except me and Tati, so 10 points is very hard to gain, especially if since it's 2 points for a win without any streak. Oh, we got a game. Oh, with J. Cruz, just who I wanted to play, so I'll play my Queen's Gambit. Usually he actually captures and plays a Queen's Gambit accepted, so we'll see what he does here. Decides not to yet, but he still might capture. Nope. Play fairly standard moves here. Okay, captures. Is this possible? Doesn't look so. I'd have to capture and then play it. But then is it good if I do it? Probably not. I think maybe knight here. To capture any pawn on here. Okay, we'll play knight here. If this pushes, then I'll take the knight and double his pawns. Weakens this square. Okay, now I'm definitely playing this. Because he can't do this now. Because of the pin. So I'm expecting this. He doesn't go for that. Is this winning material? What's he do with that? Push. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. Or even better, pawn push. Fucking hell. Pawn push. Here, here. Knight takes. Takes. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Attacking both. Yeah, that looks good. Just make sure he doesn't have to play pawn takes, he can play something else. But this is doubly protected. If he takes here, that's fine. I just strengthen my position. Yeah, I think this is good for me. There's any move like this and he loses this queen because it's pinned. So I sack the... actually, if I'm sacking the knight... So here, still pinned here, sack the knight. Still pinned. Ticks. Now you can win one pawn back, but I'm still a pawn up, I believe. With knight takes here. And then... I take here. So queen has to take. So queen takes, knight takes, and check here, here. Takes. I take his rook in the corner. So it's intriguing position. Knight takes, followed by this. Then he's got check here. I go here. He takes. I take. If he takes, I take. So we'll go into this. Like, it would be working if I weren't attacking his rook in the corner. I'm heavily considering castling queenside, because if it's the open file here, and if this knight ever moves, there's a checkmate here. So it's a very open and aggressive start to this game, which is quite nice. I do like him like that. So he's obviously got check. I go. I won't pre-move it, just in case. Yeah, he takes, I take. This knight is currently trapped then. Okay, so he wants to come out that way. So I was thinking just castle. Then I'm attacking here. If he moves out the way, then I can start some sort of advancement. Or I can just capture this pawn, I suppose. In fact, this is... well, it's not a free pawn because of he would grab this pawn here. Ah, but there's some intriguing moves with that because of knight here, bishop takes, knight takes, rook here. If he takes either of those, that's checkmate. Nearly. He would have bishop blocks, but then I go here and I win the bishop. And then if there's like a move afterwards with like after this, say this pawn or this pawn's been captured, I suppose there's that check, but now I'll just go here and I don't see any follow up to that. Then he could play something like that to pin my bishop, but I wouldn't have to matter because this rook comes up here, threatening mate here. Oh, okay, I weren't expecting that. That just looks like a completely free piece, which I will take. I was pretty sure he was going to play that. Because now that looks like he's lost a piece here, because he can't move this. Or can he? No, he can. Moving it is acceptable, because he defends this square. But he loses this. And then we go into this line that I saw just a second ago. Like, I literally just mentioned this line. If here, here, and he has to capture, I go here, and I'm threatening a lot of moves here. Because he's not running this way, so I'm threatening checkmate. And a lot of back rankers, because takes, rook here, takes, takes. So we go here, he has to capture, because of this is checkmate. Capture, capture, threatening checkmate, king here, here. Can't move this, this is checkmate. I have this outside pass pawn. The problems with this is this knight protects this square, so there's no checkmate on this one. So getting behind isn't going to help. But the check here prevents this bishop from moving, because he loses his rook. So it takes a lot of time for him to sort his pieces out. When he eventually does, the rooks go off the board. By which time this pawn is heavily advanced up the board, with this bishop protecting this square. It looks over. Okay, that is a move. heavily tempted just to take, because it pins the piece down. So we're going to take. And now this bishop's pinned. If this, then we play bishop here. Winning the exchange. Because he's got to defend the rook to get it out, and the only way you can really do that is bishop here. So pawn push, bishop here, threatening to take and win the material. And unfortunately for him, it's not quite working out. So that's a good move from him, just to allow this. But in the meantime, this pawn is going to start marching up the board. And at the end of this, he is going to have no rook defending the back rank. And this pawn is going to be heavily up the board. Okay. Let's get the pawn here and completely freeze out his king. Then we start marching the king up, keep him to the dark squares, and eventually we'll get here. The only idea really that he has is to, obviously he has to get the king round. King here, king, pawn here, king here, pawn here. And his king has to sit in the corner. Well, I suppose it can go here. But then after that I start marching round. Maybe I wait and don't push the pawn. Only push the pawn really if his king goes here, which is pretty much guaranteed to do, just to stop his king coming into this square. I don't want him marching over here. Then there's like pawn push, takes, and then there's capture and my pawn runs away, I think. I feel like this is a winning endgame. I have plenty of ideas in this position. This structure can easily be attacked with this, because obviously capture, and then it's just two weak pawns. You'd have to shove the bishop in here. And eventually, I think this is the pawn to go for, because he has to sit here. Or does he? Doesn't have to. But eventually my king's coming over, and this pawn's going to leap up, and we'll start taking. Okay, we'll just sit nice and defended. He's probably going to try... Oh, okay, he's going for an attack. I'm going to keep going. We don't mind this trade. If this comes over, then that's completely fine. It locks up his position completely. Allows us to just march in. Everything's fine. Everything's on dark squares or protected. He can't get near this pawn. If pawn push takes, then the only way to get it is to go here. So that pawn then pushes. Then if he goes here, well, he can't. It's just gone. I'm thinking I don't have to go for over here really, because if any pawn movement, then I take and I'm winning. So maybe better off would be king over here to attack this pawn. Okay, so I get my king over here, he pushes, I attack this. Because the only way to defend would be to get the bishop here, because my bishop's defending this side. So we're going to go here. And I think this pawn push is going to be downfall in the end, because I think he's looking to get bishop here to stop this pawn promoting, and then once this trades, he's got doubled pawns which aren't going anywhere. And this king's going to come over here, and then eventually it's going to push, or he's going to push here, and it's just over there. Like, king takes, so can't push. So king here does something else, like comes over here, king here, push, takes, it's over. So I think this is a good game here. Nice little end game battle. We capture that, doubles his pawns, and then king here wins the match. This passed pawn's too fast. He has to move both, this king and the pawn, and this pawn's just gone. Like, just leave that pawn there, there's no point touching it. I don't have to worry about this pawn, it's just blocked. Just play the winning moves, which is push the pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 4 moves too slow, so just push. Nothing else matters over here, it's just done. We can let him just grab these. Yep. You've got to move all the way around. I'll put your king in the front of it, which takes longer. Nice words from him. So, yeah, nice game there. Nice words from him. He played well. Got to an end game. I'll have a little look at the analysis on that. But I don't think he did too much wrong. It was just the position in the end. He ended up... We'll go through it without the analysis first and just have a look and see whether we can identify. This looks pretty standard. Except there is a nice little tactic, I think, that he maybe doesn't see a lot, but it's still fairly equal. That, I think, is the blunder, because it opens up a lot of back rank tactics. This bishop is extremely strong. Like this knight, it's not really doing too much here. Like it can threaten coming here after knight here, I suppose. But bishop here kind of solves the problem, and then you end up sitting with the bishop here at the back, which is nicely tucked away. That's the only thing I can think of, but because I don't think my knight's doing too much. Like, it does have threats here, but I think the bishop can protect it. And overall, I think you've got a good attacking piece here. So it pushes you on the back foot for, I think, the rest of the match. And this, I spoke about this earlier with just the back rank threats. So you have to capture, and it's still there. That trade, I've got a pass pawn here. Just block, so it causes you to lose so much time because you have to manage your position, and then trading here you can't get there because of the white bishop. The light square bishop is just covering everything. From here, the king, I have two options: this pawn, this pawn. Well, I have three options, I suppose, to attack. But I'm never getting to this one with this bishop on these squares, whereas this one I can get to. So I would say these two are the pawns to attack with the king. This move just locks everything up. So I have two pawns defending this square. So there's not too much for me to worry about now. Maybe some sort of... Instead of playing... Actually, no, wait. Bishop here is fine. I think maybe moving the bishop back here might help, because it allows you to play this move. If I start coming in this way, it allows you to play this maybe. And you've got a 3 versus 2 majority. And usually in endgames, well, I say pretty much in all endgames, you want to push your majority. So I would highly likely play over here. And as you can see, I'm not really doing much over this side of the board. I'm threatening to win some pawns eventually, but it's going to take time, and gives you this, which take, and then I have to take because I can't let you run through, and you've got a pass pawn now here. King here. Your king can't run away because otherwise I'm queening, so king has to go here. Take. Like, it's not a great position for you, because of my bishop's just covering this square. Like, my bishop's too well placed, I think, that the endgame is just done, but I think this was maybe the best chance. The downfall really is just the pass pawn. So if we go back to where it got created, this move here. The sack of the piece. Gains the piece back for 3 pawns, really. So it's equal material, but I'm up a piece for 3 pawns, I think. Or something like that. 3 pawn, 3... no, it's equal material, okay. Oh yeah, because I recaptured that, okay. But this pass pawn is very dangerous, especially when you lose the rook to that. So now your pieces are out of the game. But it was a nice game. I enjoyed it. And I think that's me done for tonight, to be honest. 8 games, 7 out of 8, half an hour left. So if we played a full 15 minutes each with increment, we probably might not have time to finish it. So I'll stick with that for now. And yeah, good games. I think I played well. Only mistakes, I would say, would be the game against Sasha, where I made what I thought was initially a blunder, where I could get my pieces, my queen and my knight forked, but luckily I had that queen move just moving to h5, I believe, and attacking back against his knight, so that was fairly lucky. Got away with that one. And the game against Totti, where I sacked my knight for 3 pieces, which was an interesting attack, but its 2 bishops were just too strong. So maybe I should try and analyse deeper before I make moves such as that. But yeah, good games. I was just about to stop recording and I realised that I hadn't gone over this last game by the computer, so I suppose we could have a look at it. High accuracy from me, 98.1, pretty good. Not a bad accuracy of 82.9 from J. Cruz. So, go through this. Wonder if it likes the sack. Yeah, it's fine with the sack. Sack sound. Queen takes as a blunder. It likes the castling queenside. I'm happy with that then, because I thought that was a really nice switch to attack. Yeah, I thought the bishop takes as a poor move, but this only counts as an inaccuracy rather than a mistake. It likes just pushing the pawn straight away, like it's a pass pawn, you can't get it going, I guess. And then mistake, but apparently that's an inaccuracy as well. It likes just pushing the pass pawn. I thought this was a good move, get the rooks off the board. I can see that why that's a blunder, like the bishop's protecting this square. But I was thinking more about just locking up his pieces. Like the bishop's really hard to move with the rook here. Like this pawn stops the king escaping without like breaking up the position. I thought with this move though, I thought if he does that, I just play here. And oh yes, it's completely fine, yeah, of course, because if I can't take here, yeah, it's completely fine for him to do that. He might have missed that as well, because I know I definitely did. Miss win, I suppose, pinning this pawn, going for that, with bishop here, that's bishop here, to pin this pawn, just in case you didn't see my mouse. Yep, get the rooks off, and this pawn's just extremely strong in an endgame. Like it's plus 0.95, but I think it's good enough to win. Yeah, I think this pawn push here is the loss. We'll see what the engine says. Yep. Straight down from 0.82 in my favour all the way up to 2.6. It just causes this square to be completely locked down. Sole aim is just to get the king in. These 2 pawns aren't going anywhere with this pawn here.